Alright everyone, Donald Trump actually went through with it. He went to the Libertarians convention and was both booed and cheered and occasionally heckled there actually. You can look up clips of that. It's off the chain as a typical Libertarian convention tends to be. When you get an assortment of people in the room who really don't like government, doesn't even really make sense for a public official as Trump is to appear on stage, but he decided to walk into the lion's den. And I give him credit for that. I think that it was a brilliant idea, actually. He made his pitch to the Libertarians, some of them more amenable to his concept than others, claiming he wants to crush communism. Probably goes over well with the average ANCAP or monarchist, but of course Donald Trump is still a mainline political figure. He represents a soft reset. He doesn't represent the kind of hard reset that the typical libertarian big L or little l would support. For instance, as a classical liberal, I'm beyond monarchism in that sense. I'm on the outer periphery of libertarianism. I don't approve of everything that Donald Trump proposes. I think that the tax rate, the bureaucracy and so forth, I wish he would take more than a scalpel to it. I want him to take a machete to it and just carve it into little bits. I would want more reform than he has in mind. I see Trump as a stepping stone into, at least for a few decades, a better future in which we can do a soft reset towards more liberty. I see that as pragmatic. I would note that the Libertarians booing him when he's literally saying that he wants to commute Ross Ulbricht's sentence and put a Libertarian, for the very first time, I believe, into his cabinet as an olive branch to the LP. If you're rejecting that, I mean, you just don't want to win at some point. Politics has to have two components: ideological purity and strategy. You have to have both. The ideologically puristic libertarians obviously can't accept much of what Donald Trump stands for. They like the fact that he didn't start a new war. I'm speaking anecdotally from my own opinion. Not starting a new war, easing off taxes, slashing a bunch of regulations. So he had his 1 to 5 regulatory code there where they had to slash 5 regulations for every new one that was put on the books. These are all very pro-liberty concepts, but he's not a purist. But you also have to have a strategic mentality. If you wish to enforce your policy at all, you will have to negotiate effectively. You also have to debate points, and you have to do so effectively. You cannot do that by being so ideologically puristic that you're so off the charts to the average person, the population, that you never have a political presence at all. Donald Trump is, to my knowledge, the first person, outside of maybe Ron Paul or some other, candidacy, which didn't win, and then there's multiple reasons for that, not least of which is the GOP's constant its onanism, basically. Is the only one who is actually making these sort of pledges to a political party that he's not even part of. He's not a libertarian. He's not a member of the party. He's a Republican. And the Republicans deserve, in many cases, to be castigated. There's a reason that I have not joined up with their party. I like winning too much, and I don't like the futtery, and I lean more towards literally the libertarians on those issues. But you have to be able to negotiate. You have to, in some cases, understand that you are a tiny minority and take what you can get. You've got a presidential candidate saying he's going to pardon the founder of the Silk Road, who did nothing wrong, and he deserves a pardon. That's a huge victory. It would absolutely... Can you imagine the reaction of the leftoids when they have to go full gung-ho for the police state because Orange Man bad when he gets pardoned, when his sentence is commuted? That'd be hilarious. Libertarians should be chomping at the bit for the opportunity to vote for this man. If he only follows through on that, it'd be great. Putting a libertarian in your cabinet? Like an actual cabinet position? The first libertarian to occupy one in modern history? I think that that's a victory. Trump got booed. But the people that are booing him, I mean, it was predictable. He knew that he was going to get booed because a lot of the people there are more ANCAP or something like that. I expect that if I got up on stage at PorkFest, I'd have some people booing me too because of my support of Donald Trump. I might be known to a lot of those libertarians. I am explicitly and fully pro-gun. I don't believe in any form of gun control. Beyond the recreational McNuke sort of argument, I literally believe that you should be able to mail order a machine gun. I believe that is a right of the militia. I believe in absolute absence of censorship, full, total free expression, devolving most functions of government back to the states insofar as they have to exist at all, and getting rid of most of the rest, and slashing and burning the bureaucracy like a chunk of Amazon jungle in southern Colombia. But I would still probably get booed because I'm not an ANCAP. I do believe that having a state is actually a good thing, as long as it's much more constrained than the state happens to be. I'm brutally anti-war. But none of these things that coincide strongly with the puristic libertarian position will get you any credit, because some libertarians simply do not understand strategy. We have to admit to this. It's the same with the left. The left doesn't seem to understand that outside of a few blue, very blue districts, they don't have any power at all because the average person rejects their message. They could attempt to negotiate to get some of what they want passed, to incept it into a political reality, but they're not willing to do that, especially since their members in Congress, like AOC and Rashida Tlaib, etc., basically out-lefted the far left already and went even further left, and so they have to hold that puristic line to keep their power. And they're slowly being corrupted by it, not that they weren't to begin with. Donald Trump really stepped up by doing this. This was a genius move. He will get some libertarian votes as the result of this. What I can't understand is when I look at the legacy media's analysis of this, and they say, well, he's trying to undercut RFK Jr. No libertarian is going to be able to vote for a person like RFK Jr. He is extremely anti-gun. He is completely against the First Amendment, believes that you should be thrown in jail for questioning climate change. He's in favor of race-based reparations for slavery. I'm thinking that Trump is more liberty-minded than RFK Jr. I don't think that that's really in question. And I don't see RFK Jr. saying, yeah, Ross Ulbricht, he's a pretty cool dude. Yeah, I'll set him free. And he's also not viable, which is why some libertarians would support him in the absence of a strong LP candidate, by the way. They'll do that simply to be contrarian. I've noticed this about libertarians, and I speak as a person who's at least on the periphery of that particular ideological movement. Some libertarians, like many liberals and conservatives and many other humans in general, simply want to lose and then complain about it. Well, I told you so. Things are bad. I did absolutely nothing to make them better. I implemented no actual sound strategy that would allow me to enforce even a fraction of my political opinions. Somebody else is responsible. Let me bitch about it on Substack and stuff like that. Trump is a genius to do this. And he gets lots of free attention. He knew that he'd be booed. He also knew that the liberal legacy media would immediately pounce on that. Trump booed at Libertarian Convention. Yes, there were plenty of people cheering him too. I noticed that it goes over pretty well when you say that the Silk Road founder should have his sentence commuted. That's a sticking point for us libertarians, whether it's small L, big L, periphery, or core. Most of us do not want to see him continue to rot in prison for literally doing nothing. That's about all. Peace out.